for you. I mean, it's a reciprocal relationship, and you take care of those you love. So I definitely agree with what you were saying also. And then I guess, so if the group leader had different values than you, how would you want him or her to deal with those differing values?
I guess I would just want to feel that my values were also respected. I mean, I think it is a good point that you have to consider that the professional is a professional and does have some good advice to offer. I mean, if it got to that point that somebody is having problems that they would be in a therapy session, maybe the professional, is right in some ways, in some aspects, and so. But they should also show respect for the other person's viewpoints and
Absolutely.
and their own self-interpretations of of their situation.
Yes.
I think that goes hand in hand, or you can't help the person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as I felt like I was respected, then if a little bit of the other was true, maybe they could help me find a balance.
Right.
Then I would be open to hearing their new techniques or things that they think I should try. But
yeah,
it's got to be that you feel that they treat you with respect and with some intelligence. That you do know something about how to live your life, not just treat you as if they have all the answers and you didn't know any of them before you got there.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Right.
I would answer pretty much exactly the same way, and I would just want someone to make sure that they listen and not think that whatever they have, whatever preconceived notions they have in their mind is the only way of looking at things. Hopefully someone in a leading position would know that I have my own beliefs and my own values, and other people have their own, and that we can respect each other through those and learn from each other.
Exactly, and learn from each other.
Yeah.
If the respect is there from the beginning, people are more willing to hear the other
absolutely.
side. So.
And if someone doesn't want to listen to you or show respect for who you are, it really just shuts you off.
Yeah. And that defeats the whole purpose.
Absolutely.
Because then how can you work with anybody? I mean, you've already you've already turned them off. So there might be another time, and that's so important, because there might be another time in their life where they're even in a deeper state of crisis and they won't get that help.
Because they've had a bad experience.
Yes.
Oh yeah. We see it happen way too often. Well, and then, so lastly, how do you feel like your culture or identity shape the way that you view group work? Like your communication styles and how you deal with conflict and things like that?
I do know that it's pretty difficult for a lot of people who are Hispanic to open up and share with a stranger their problems. And even for some of the younger generation and the newer generation, 20-something age group now, will still carry over that mentality that the 50-year-olds have, that they just are not supposed to tell anybody outside of the family. You're not supposed to, share those things with other people.
Don't share
the
private life.
And it's looked down upon. And me, when I was working as a teacher, I ran into that when I had a very proud couple who was they were just dealing with finding out their little boy was autistic. And coming to the teacher and coming to the assistant principal and talking about that was very difficult.
Oh yeah.
Because they wanted to blame it on, the dad wanted to blame himself, and, it had to be, and there's nothing wrong with my kid, and it's because I wasn't around, for this time, and we went back and forth with that, and the biggest problem that held them back from maybe learning more about how to deal with their child was that they couldn't get over having to come out of the closet with that.
To accept it.
Yeah, so we were accepting of it. We had no problem, in the school. But they had such a problem talking about it as if it was just normal. And then today people have to accept that it is normal to have some kind of dysfunction, learning disorder, or something. I mean, these things are not
happen.
new either.
Right.
They've been going, you know, they just didn't have so
names,
many labels
exactly.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are people, and you know, you just deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it stops them from getting the help they need a lot of the times.
Yeah.
That they have a real hard time with just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I see a lot in my culture.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I think that I'm definitely one that doesn't like to, if I see conflict, I like to face it head on. I don't like to have things like sitting behind me that I feel like are eating away at me or at someone else. So if I feel like there's something going on, I really like to approach it immediately. But one thing I've learned, especially in my Hispanic roots now, is that not everyone feels that way. And that I can't just, that's not the best way to approach conflict for everybody. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I need to take a step back and I need to let someone process things
internally before they're ready.
Exactly, before they're ready to talk to me about anything. Excuse me. And that goes along with communication, I think, as well. So the communication styles I have are learned from my family. I have a very big family with lots of siblings, and we're loud and we are crazy. And so going into other people's families, the way I learned to communicate it doesn't always fit. So I think just my culture has really helped me to understand that that's just one lens, and that I need to make sure to open up my other eyes, I guess, and see other lenses and make sure that I'm understanding, because I think in conflict and communication, dealing with those kinds of group issues, or not even in a group, if you just look at it from your perspective, you're much less likely to get your point across.
Right.
So, yeah, that's the way I feel about that.
Well, you made some really good points, and it was great to meet you in person and do this.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you so much for coming, and I feel like I've learned a lot about you through this experience.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Okay, well, until we work again. Bye.
Yeah.